Hello there, this is Flores Benditas.
And I'm Misdemeanor. And we
We are
Art Anarchists!
Woo!
All right. So we're here because we believe in the power of art to bring change. We have strong ideas ourselves that we want to share with you, but we also believe in the power of conversation and listening. And through this, we want to incite each other and you guys to take on the role of artists as activists. This is our first episode.
So, for today's topic, episode 1, the question is, what makes art art? So I think this is a topic that makes a lot of art viewers kind of angry sometimes.
Well, and we're just always angry.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It'll be fine.
It causes a lot of discussion and controversy about like what art really is and how to define it.
So shall I go and share my definition of what I think is art?
Yeah.
So I thought about this, and so what I think is art is new and revolutionary. It's born out of the imagination and the vision of the artist, and it should move and activate its audience. To me, an artist sees what others don't see and makes that visible, brings it into light. So it shouldn't be reproduction, it shouldn't be imitation, but it should reveal truth. And I actually forgot where I heard this or where I read this, but somebody said that art is a quote, a beautiful gut punch. There needs to be thoughtful decision making on the medium. Actually, I think I took that from you. But the formal elements of art should speak into the idea of what you are trying to convey. So
yeah,
all of that is it's either a lot of fluff or it's the definition of art.
Exactly. Yeah. So my definition of art is so I think that between art and artist lies the process, which I consider to be the definition of art. So art is the manifestation of conception, process, and the artist's experience expressed and materialized in any medium and aesthetic with intention. I think art should provoke, probe, and promote self-agency, and it should ultimately do something. There should be a connection to art. Art should communicate and also be transformative to the artist and also to the viewer engaging with the art.
Sorry, I had to take a sip.
We're enjoying cocktails too, because we like to drink and chat a little about art.
We like to enjoy a little cucumber delight. So let's talk about some examples of like a great example. We each thought about this, like an example of what we think is not art, but has somehow gotten away with being defined as art, and a great example of what each of us thinks is art. So for me, an example of something that is not art is an artist that I just learned about. His name is Paul McCarthy, not Paul McCartney, the Beatle, but Paul McCarthy. And a lot of his work is questionable to me, but one that really stood out was something called The Tree. And it's like this big green inflatable sculpture that was placed in this historic area in Paris. It was, and I think in a matter of 24 or 48 hours, somebody like punched a hole in it, deflated it, and also punched the artist, apparently.
See? Art makes people angry in this way that just like, yeah.
Have you ever punched somebody in the face because of art?
No.
All right.
No, but
I think that's a questionable no. But this thing called The Tree, if you look it up, it was a giant butt plug. It was a giant green butt plug, and he named it The Tree, and then put it in this like historic square in Paris, France. So of course, French people are gonna like be like, you know, not happy. And the reason that I think that this is not art is because I think like, well, two big reasons. One, a lot of this and a lot of his other things seem to be done as just spectacle, as just like looking for like some reaction, kind of treated as comedy. And I think like art can be comedy and comedy can be art, but in this situation, I watched some interviews of the guy, of Paul McCarthy, about some of his other works and about Tree. And always, 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 when he's talking about anything that he's created, he always like, when he's asked about it, he's like, well, it seems to me that like, and then he like goes on to like talk about what he think his art seems to be, which tells me that you haven't really thought about this.
yeah.
Or you haven't really, maybe you thought about it, but like you haven't put any real like care into it, intentionality into it. And those are important things, I think, in art making. So for that reason, I think this is a big joke. And he might be a great comedian, but I don't think I don't think he really makes art. So yeah, that's an example of what I think is not art. How about you? Flores benditas.
I think so there was a piece I think it either showed or was supposed to show. It's a video called Dogs That Cannot Touch Each Other by Sun Yan, and I can't pronounce his name, I don't know, Pengyu. So they're like a wife husband duo, and yeah, so this video was supposed to be part of this exhibit, art in China after 1989 at the Guggenheim, and there was just like all of this like protesting and uproar about this video, and also other pieces in the exhibit that used animals. Yeah. But like this piece in particular, Dogs That Cannot Touch Each Other, was very, for me, like I watched the video and I could not watch it.
Yeah, I couldn't either.
I couldn't watch it. But what I thought was just so bizarre was how everybody else in the video that actually saw it live could watch it. And it was a spectacle. It was a huge spectacle. And I feel like, I think what you mentioned about like Paul McCarthy's piece and like how the French people were kind of like up in arms about this disgusting looking piece of artwork. I think it just comes down also to cultural definitions of art. And yeah, I mean, it seemed that whoever was watching that piece live was just like, it was really bizarre. Like I just couldn't, I didn't think I think that there is some kind of intention behind the art, and it's really, the art is supposed to be about, the piece is about like violence and humanity, but I think that it just, I don't know, it just struck a chord with me that wasn't like, I know like art is supposed to like provoke feeling, and it can provoke anger and like sadness and whatever, but this was just kind of like, I would walk away, you know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. Like, I agree that that piece, like, there is intention and idea behind it. But I think like there's a line. Like,
Yeah,
I'm an artist, and you know, I love art, and you know, same for you, but like it's animal cruelty, really.
I thought so,
and there's a line, and it's, we're human beings, you know, and you can't cross that line, even for something as important. I think art is really important, but I think that like there's some lines that you should just not cross in the name of art or anything else. And I think that's one of them. And
yeah,
was that, do you know, was that recorded in China?
it was. I feel it was, because that's the audience that I saw, and like immediately I was just like, that's acceptable there. And that's why like cultural definitions of art and like animal treatment and everything like that came to mind. And yeah, I mean, they say that the artist, like I read an interview, I think it was like in the New York Times or whatever, but you know, she was saying how like each dog is cared for, you know, after every 7-minute session of like running aggressively towards another dog. They were given a break, a 7-minute break, and that the dogs saw like veterinary, you know, they saw a vet, and that really that these animals, they're pit bulls, these animals were already, as she said, pugnacious. So it's just like,
it doesn't mean that you can like, you know,
like use, especially like, I mean, animal rights comes into play too. It's just like, you are using these animals as like material, right? Like they can't say no. I don't want to be part of your art. Like if there were people, then that's a different story. But when it comes to using a living life as your material, as your medium, that really can't say, no, I don't want to be represented this way, nor do I want to be used this way, then I have a problem with that being classified as art. And sorry, especially when I don't want to engage with it. You know, because the whole purpose of art is basically there's a pitcher who's the artist who is throwing you a ball, and there's the receiver, and the receiver is either there to catch the message or just being like, no. You know, and that piece might be art to somebody else. And that's the thing, like defining art is such a broad topic that like everybody has their own definition of art, and to me that's not art.
And I think also as artists, you have a responsibility to, like what you touched on, like you have a responsibility to use to choose your medium and your materials and wisely. And that is, to me, that's not wise. And I'm surprised that the Guggenheim included that.
They included like, there was this other piece that I noticed that it was just two pigs mating. Did you see it with like with some kind of like writing on their bodies? And I don't know, that's just not art to me, you know.
That's like
Now if that was animation, maybe then I don't know. I think that might change things. Like, what if it was just the same concept, but the artist decided to just animate it? That makes it less. I mean, would that make it less?
It might.
Aggressive, and I find it very degrading.
Yeah.
It's debasing art. It's debasing whatever definition we have of art and the mediums that artists decide to use.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you really hit it right there. It's the what?
Debasing. Girl, we're having fun here, you guys.
Debasing art.
We're having we're having fun. But
I think that's another piece that we could probably talk about in one of our upcoming episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Controversial
art. And censorship, because
censorship.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, because the Guggenheim, like, they ended up just showing like the name card or like the tag or whatever for that piece. Like,
yeah,
it didn't even really, after like the first day or whatever.
But my other gripe is, like, it sounded like the Guggenheim was so regretful that they couldn't show it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yeah, that I kind of have a problem with that too.
Yeah.
Like, what are your standards as a like institution? And yeah, I mean,
girl,
I don't know. It's all whack.
Opens up a lot more questions, which we shall talk about later.
Yeah, for sure.
But we are trying to keep this to like 30-40 minutes because we don't want to lose you.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how long we've been talking already.
I don't know. Can we check?
Does it say here? No.
All right. Well, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Well, we can always, But I guess I don't know. We can start wrapping it up.
Do you want to talk about our other like examples of?
Oh my God! Yeah. Sorry. All right. So
you want to talk about Lincoln Lather?
Well,
oh my gosh, are you gonna have an orgasm?
My ultimate definition of art, I think, comes from Janine Antoni's Lick and Lather series. Like, that to me is like, it's just so beautiful because for me, it's about the process. And she literally like licked and lathered herself with these self-portraits. And the concept and the idea behind the entire piece. So it's like a performance piece that results in this series of 7 or 14 self-portraits, 7 in soap and 7 in chocolate. She bathed with the soap, with the self-portraits soap, and she licked the chocolates. Like, she basically licked herself and cleansed herself and was able to shape and erase certain features. So the concept of the performance of the pieces themselves is also very relevant. So it's, about self-care, self-erasure, identity, and these are just all ideas that are, or commentary, social commentary that is so relevant with even today now, during COVID. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it kind of goes full circle from concept, process, and the result necessarily doesn't have to be beautiful, but
it speaks to the process.
It speaks to the process. Like, we know, looking at those sculptures, those pieces, that we understand.
Yeah. She's one of my favorite artists, and that's
God, I love her. Like,
yeah.
and and it's that kind of, okay, so like, I'll go back to my definition of art. Like, I saw the entire series at the NGA, and I went back several times just to smell the chocolate, and like, just, I think art is like, you feel it, you feel it in your bones. I feel like I felt like every time I was going to go see those pieces, I felt like I was going to a rock show. Like I would literally be there, oh my God, like this stuff is so good. Like her work is so good. And I would leave there pumped, and like my heart would be racing, and like, it's just so lovely how like art can like, it's just like another mode of language, just like another way of expression, and it's funny, you know, like.
Yeah, and for me, when did you see it at the NGA? Because I saw it at the Hirshhorn.
Yeah, there's two. So there's I know that two of her busts were showing at the Hirshhorn, but also the NGA, I think that was like in 2016 maybe, like they had all 14 lined up.
Okay.
Yeah,
I saw it like 15, 14, 2014. But anyways, I think another I didn't include this in my definition of art, but like I think like really good art, and I think that is an example, entices you.
Yeah.
Like I want to go there and like not only smell the chocolate, like just take a bite out of it.
And that's what happened. Okay, so
did you take a bite out of it?
No. But that's the other thing. Like another thing with me in art is just like, I want to be seduced by art, you know? And like, actually, no, I think she was showing her series at like some, I don't know, I think it was like the Venice Biennale or something. I don't remember when, but like this little girl actually went up.
She bit it?
And bit.
Oh no.
Like the nose off one of her chocolate busts. Yes, she did.
Oh my God, I did not hear about that. That's crazy.
So
yeah, you want to like bite into the chocolate, and then like the soap ones, like I just want to touch them and like feel them and rub them against my body.
I do. And like the other thing is with soap, like you think about soap as like this cleansing medium, but also as a way to cleanse your palate and to cleanse any like foul mouthness, I think. So like, yeah, I mean, like my intention was just like, I want to just lick them all while I was there. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, they're just so beautiful. I love her work.
I do too. She's one of my favorites.
What about you?
Well, what I picked as like a great work of art, or a great example of what art is Ai Weiwei's Laundromat, which is like part performance and like documentary, like there's like a movie, or like a documentary, like movie and installation. And I went and I saw it in New York at the David Swinner Gallery. But I remember I went in, I like, went into the gallery, like you step in, and as soon as you like step in, like you're just surrounded. And it overwhelms you, like from the very moment that you walk in. And what it's about is like the refugee situation. And so what he did was go into, it starts with an I. Gosh, I can't remember the name of the camp now, but like a refugee camp. They went into like these refugee camps, like after the refugees like fled and go to the next like area, and they're like fleeing, so they just like leave all their things behind. So they, you go in, him and his team like go in after, and there's like clothes left over, like one like left shoe, or
Yeah.
like blankets. Like I guess they just like grab what they can grab and then just like flee. So all this other stuff is left over. Him and his team go in, they gather everything, and they like hand wash everything and take all these, refugees, like all their like clothes, and hand wash everything and line it up to dry. And to me, like, it's like this performance about like giving this person like back their humanity.
Yeah.
And like the way like the Janine Antoni's like bus like entice you to like bite into the chocolate, like this work is like enticing, but in a different sort of way. Like it moves you to like the point that like you're just speechless. I don't know how to like articulate it quite, because it's just that like is this a word? Rapturous?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, and so when you step into the gallery, into the installation, everything, like all these clothes and shoes and all their belongings are like hanging on like clothing racks and things, and like presented as if it's like a department store or something, as if like you're going shopping. And then the walls are covered with like this wallpaper that they made of like all of Ai Weiwei's like tweets about like not only like the situation, but like what they were doing, and news articles about it, and like, and then there's like the documentary like playing in the on a TV in the back. And I really like liked how like the presentation of like these sort of like clothes that you would find like at the Goodwill store or something, or at like a thrift shop, like something that like you're probably not gonna buy.
Yeah.
And, but like the way it's presented as if it's like some new like designer brand at a clothing store, like and also the place I saw it at was like surrounded. It was a gallery in Soho, so it is surrounded by all these like designer stores that are like carrying clothes that are like hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever.
Wow.
But yeah, it just overwhelms you. I think the space itself, like the installation itself, like overwhelms you to like the point of just like you can't help but to be like, I feel like even like the most cold-hearted person like could go in there, and like you can't help but to be like moved for like the plight of these people. Yeah, so to me that was a great example of a work of art.
For sure.
I can't even like talk about it.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean, like, like his work is just so like socially conscientious, or and I would classify him as like an art activist
for sure.
Like it's art that is just like so socially engaging. It's political. So yeah, I mean, I don't think you could, if you don't, I mean, like I've seen pictures of the exhibit, but like just from hearing you talk about it, like I'm starting to kind of like feel that your energy. But I think if somebody would walk out of there kind of like, I don't get it. And I'm like, you're not human.
Oh my God. If I were to witness or hear somebody like do that,
yeah.
I cannot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that
Just no word.
that I think that installation would be kind of on par with like the Holocaust Museum, and like going and just like understanding like what human suffering is. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it for no. I feel like I need to go like marinate and ruminate.
Yeah.
But so each episode, like we're gonna like talk about like a different like thing, and then we hope to like just, you know, make you like want to think about these things and like leave you with some sort of question to ruminate on, or maybe like a challenge or something. So I guess with this episode, you know, we'd like to challenge you to think of your definition of art. What is art to you, and what is it not? Or what are some great examples of art?
And it could be any artist. It could be like your mom, who's an
Yeah.
artist. It could
Yeah.
be like a well-known artist.
Yeah.
Or
It can be like the dude on New York Ave.
Yeah. So it could be a living or dead artist. So
and some we have an Instagram.
Yeah. We do have an Instagram, so follow us at
Art Anarchists.
Yes. Follow us at Art Anarchists, and
we're gonna get some other social media channels going soon and a website. So this is an experiment, and I think it went pretty well.
I think it did. So yeah, we'll just wrap it up now. But yeah, definitely follow us on our social media and keep an eye out for our website. And hopefully you'll tune in for our next episode, which is still TBD. What are we doing next week?
We have like a whole list of things.
We have a lot of content, but yeah, we're just trying to keep this podcast very casual and like easy listening, and you know, try to just keep it fun and free. And so all right,
we'll see you next time in a couple weeks. All right, bye.